The Lost Otter. Once upon a time in a dense forest lived a family of otters. There were 2 parents and 2 children. They were a happy family that enjoyed playing together in the clear stream that ran through the forest. One day, while they were out playing, the younger otter spotted a delicious fish and ran after it. The other family members followed, but they soon realized that the little one had wandered too far and was now lost. The family searched for hours but could not find the little otter. They decided to ask the other animals in the forest if they had seen any sign of their child. The deer, the rabbit, and the squirrel all shook their heads. The owl suggested that they search near the riverbank as it was one of the little otter's favorite spots. As the sun began to set, the family saw a small figure walking slowly towards them. It was their lost child, looking tired and hungry. They rushed towards the little otter, and the parents hugged it tightly. The little otter told them that it had gotten lost and had wandered around the forest for hours, unable to find its way back. Just as it was about to give up hope, a kind old tortoise had appeared and offered to help guide the little otter back to its family. The family thanked the tortoise for his kindness and welcomed him into their home. From that day on, they played together every day, and the little otter never strayed too far away from its family again. In the end, the family learned to be grateful for the kindness of others, especially those who may not be as quick or agile as themselves. They all lived happily ever after in their little part of the woods, surrounded by caring friends. The brave little squirrel. Once upon a time in a dense forest lived a brave little squirrel named Bucky. He was different from other squirrels as he had a reddish-brown fur with a white heart-shaped patch on his forehead. One day, while Bucky was gathering nuts, he saw a group of rabbits being chased by a giant eagle. Bucky knew that the rabbits were in grave danger, so he decided to help them. Without wasting any time, he climbed up a tree and started throwing acorns at the eagle. The eagle was caught off guard and flew away. The rabbits were overjoyed and grateful to Bucky for saving their lives. They invited him to their warren and offered him all sorts of food. Bucky was overwhelmed by their kindness and decided to stay with them for a while. Days passed, and Bucky became good friends with the rabbits. One day, while they were playing in the fields, they heard a loud noise. They turned around and saw a pack of wolves approaching them. The rabbits were terrified and hid behind Bucky. Bucky knew that he had to act fast. He remembered that wolves were afraid of loud noises, so he started making as much noise as he could. He banged his tail on the ground, and the rabbits joined in by thumping their feet. The wolves were confused and scared, and they ran away. The rabbits cheered for Bucky, and they all hugged him tightly. From that day onwards, Bucky became the protector of the rabbits, and he continued to live with them happily ever after. The Journey of Little Squirrel. Once upon a time, in a forest deep and vast, there lived a brave little squirrel named Nutmeg. She was known to be the bravest among all the animals of the forest. She was small, but that didn't stop her from being courageous. One day, the forest was facing a crisis. The trees were drying up. The flowers were wilting, and the animals were getting sick. They didn't know what was happening, but they knew that they needed help. Nutmeg decided to take matters into her own hands and go on a mission to find the cause of the problem. She set out for a long journey through the forest, crossing rivers and climbing mountains. Along the way, she met different animals who asked her what she was doing. She told them about the crisis and how she was on a mission to save the forest. Many discouraged her, telling her that it was impossible for a small squirrel like her to achieve such a feat, but Nutmeg remained determined and kept going. Finally, after days of searching, Nutmeg reached the top of a hill, where she found a big dam. The dam had been created by beavers who had blocked the river, causing the water to dry up. Nutmeg knew she had to do something, so she started to chew away at the logs, one by one, until the river started to flow again. As soon as the river started to flow, the trees started to bloom again, and the animals came back to full health. Nutmeg had saved the forest. From that day on, Nutmeg became a hero in the eyes of all the animals in the forest. They celebrated her bravery and thanked her for saving their home. Nutmeg had proven that even though she was small, she could make a big difference. And with that, she went to bed knowing that she had made a positive impact on the world. The Brave Bunny and the Cunning Coyote. Once upon a time, in a vast green meadow, lived a brave bunny named Benny. Benny was known among his animal friends for his courage and kind heart. One day, while Benny was gathering some carrots from his garden, he heard the sound of someone approaching. It was the Cunning Coyote, who was infamous for stealing food from other animals. Benny knew he had to act quickly, so he started digging a hole right under his garden. The coyote came closer and greeted Benny with a sly smile and asked if he could have some of his carrots. Benny, being the kind bunny he was, offered the coyote some of the best carrots from his garden. However, as the coyote started to eat the carrots, Benny made his move and dug a hole right underneath the coyote's feet, causing him to fall into the hole. The clever bunny then threw some dirt on top of the hole, trapping the coyote inside. Benny ran to grab his animal friends, and together, they decided to teach the coyote a lesson. They made sure the coyote would never steal any food from their meadow again by assigning him tasks that would keep him busy all day long. The coyote soon learned his lesson and apologized to Benny and his animal friends for his mischievous behavior. From then on, the animals lived peacefully. And Benny, the brave bunny, became the hero of the meadow. The Fox and the Rabbit. In a dense forest, there lived a wily fox named Red and a timid rabbit named Bun. They both lived in harmony, never bothering each other, despite their differences. One day, as Red was hunting for his dinner, he stumbled upon a juicy carrot that belonged to Bun. Just as he was about to take a bite, Bun scurried in and pleaded with him not to eat it. Red could see how much the carrot meant to the poor little rabbit, so he decided to make a deal with her. He promised never to harm her or any of her kin, in exchange for half of the carrots she harvested every season. Bun was hesitant at first, but eventually agreed as she saw the fairness in the exchange. As time passed, Red kept true to his word and never laid a paw on Bun or any of her fellow rabbits. They both grew old together, with Red being the protector of the rabbit community, and Bun being the caretaker of the forest vegetation. They both knew that without each other, they would have never survived in the wild. Years went by, and one day, Red fell sick and knew that his time had come. Bun, who had grown fond of Red, came to him and thanked him for his kindness over the years. As Red took his last breath, he left a message for the next generation of foxes, telling them to be kind to their fellow creatures, just like he had been with the rabbits. Bun never forgot Red's teachings, and passed it on to her children and grandchildren. And so, the legacy of the fox and the rabbit lived on, spreading love and kindness throughout the forest. From that day on, the rabbits never feared the foxes, and the foxes never hunted them. Instead, they coexisted in peace, thanks to the lessons taught by Red and Bun. The Wise Old Owl. In the depths of the forest, there was a wise old owl who lived high up in a tree. He was admired and respected by all the other animals for his wisdom and guidance. One day, a young rabbit called Thumper came to seek the owl's advice. "Oh, wise old owl," said Thumper, "I have lost my way in the forest. I don't know how to get back to my burrow." The owl nodded thoughtfully and said, "Listen carefully, young Thumper. The best way to find your way back is to follow the North Star. It will lead you home." Thumper was grateful and thanked the owl for his help. He set out on his journey, following the North Star as the owl had advised. Along the way, he met a fox who offered to guide him. "No thank you," said Thumper, "I trust the wise old owl's advice. I know I'll find my way back home." And so he did. Thumper reached his burrow just as the sun was rising. He was overjoyed and knew that he owed his gratitude to the wise old owl who had helped him find his way back. From that day on, Thumper would often visit the owl to seek his advice and guidance. The wise old owl was always happy to help, and the two became good friends. And so, the wise old owl continued to be loved and respected by all the animals in the forest for his knowledge, kindness, and guidance.